Hello and welcome to Onesies, a podcast of onesies and wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew,
My name is Emily.
and we are wrapping up our Bondsman season, the 2025 Amazon Prime streaming show starring Kevin Bacon and Beth Grant and some other actors who may or may not go on to future success based upon their abilities. Kind of like the production crew. Okay, so we are finishing up with episodes 7 and 8. I will tell you that when I started episode 7, I had a panic attack because I thought there were 10 episodes, and I was like, no! But there aren't. There are only
No,
8.
there are only 8.
And we do get to see what Amazon wasn't interested in bringing back for season 2. Big shock. Okay, so episode 7 begins with a demon inhabiting a young child who appears to be at least you know what, we're not talking drops. It appears to be it's a black child. So they finally did a demon child. It's a black kid. They don't shoot him in the head, but it's a weird vibe. Also,
I have maybe a theory about it when we get to
okay.
it. When we
All
get
right.
to his return.
Okay.
So yeah, it's funny. It reminded me of, remember the miniseries It, Stephen King's
Yes.
It. It
Hmm.
reminded me of that very much. He's on the playground, he gets on the little spinny guy, and the spinny guy goes really fast. He's taken by the demon and it just keeps going very fast. It reminded me kind of visually of that, which was in 1992 or something. Like, this is
It
not
was
like
in
high tech.
1990 in a TV movie. So,
Yeah, and so yeah, that's the level of special effects we're looking at, folks. But I
yes.
really enjoyed it. I prefer that to the special effects, and
Well,
I'm
good
using
thing
finger
you'll have
quotes.
that next episode.
Yeah,
Okay. So, yes, so it apparently takes the child, and then we cut directly to
we
Bob
cut
and
Hub and Marianne at the
who's not
house.
M until episode 8. She's just Marianne in episode 7. So clearly, who actually wrote the scripts was like, I'm not fucking watching this stupid show. I'm going to call her whatever I want.
And it's funny because they're having a conversation. They're setting the scene, I guess. Kitty and Cade are off incinerating demons at the
Yes.
local uh, uh, mortuary. They're giving us information we don't need, which is that, Kitty and Hub have something on the funeral home. They know what they've been doing, so they'll hide our secrets, type of a scenario. I think, wasn't there a doctor, a mortician in Georgia who was selling body parts or something? Like, maybe
I wonder
they were
what it could possibly be to cover up murder, which is an
if they're
interesting
selling
vibe.
human body parts. Again,
I don't
that's
know hey, it's Georgia. So,
but we don't need this information. We
no.
don't need this information. Kitty brings it back later, but it's filler. It's all filler. Um, Marianne hears Lucky's phone go off, and she's like,
Yes, we
I
have
know
this
his
whole thing.
passcode. How many ways do you want to destroy him? And she starts typing in the passcode, and Hub, if you remember from last week, folks, was being filmed, um, possibly admitting to his crimes, being tortured by Lucky, and he very quickly intervenes to tell Marilyn he was torturing me, trying to get you to love him again. So Marianne, excuse me, won't watch the video and discover his secret, which is that he killed Cheryl. Stupid. Kitty and Cade come back again, completely superfluous. Except Cade is like completely unfazed by what he did just did, to the point where he's got like Bojangles, and he's starving because he's a teenage boy. And then he's eating the food. He offers it to Hub, and Hub eats it. And Kitty's like, this is fucked up. But because this is the rounding out of the episode, like it's never going to come back. It's very weird. But this kid seems like a sociopath. And
Yeah.
I think even Hub even says, like, oh, he's just like his dad.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, chip off the old block.
So then they decide that the job comes in, and so we
Yeah.
then get a little bit more of the yarn board. We get the family all working together on
Hmm.
the preparation, and then they go outside when they are ready, and they run into Jolene Purdy, who is there to assist slash oversee slash tell Hub that his theory is correct, that there is something going on with the sacrifices. There's some banter about, I mean, it's basically just the other people in the family, mostly Marianne
Marianne.
and Kitty being shitty to Jolene Purdy. Um, I don't think Cade's directly shitty to her, but he does like make a comment off to the side. But they're just shitty to Jolene Purdy. There's a like, it's not uncoded that
Is it shitty, or are they just hardworking folk who are being shitty to the man? The man being a
a woman of Asian
Japanese woman.
descent. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm pretty
Because the
sure,
jab that Kitty makes is, are you going to get your hands dirty, or are you just management?
which is a reference to the way Hub is describing she's his like, you know, she's not his boss, she's his, office supervisor or something like.
Something. Yeah. I
Yeah.
forget exactly the word they use.
It's, I'm sure that they thought it was fine for those reasons, but this is, I mean, they also demonize all the black cops, which is an interesting vibe considering they're
Yeah.
literally fighting demons.
And they're in
Um,
Georgia.
yeah.
But so Midge, i.e., Jolene Purdy, gives them more information about what's happening. She's off camera looked at Hub's information that he left with her episodes ago, um, and tells them that the information she has received is that one more sacrifice and you're unchaining one of the shackled seven. I did not do any research into this to see if this is an actual thing,
Feel like
but
if it was an actual thing, we'd have heard of it by now.
it's one of the original sort of angels that sided with the devil in the fight against God. I don't know, whatever. But one of them is trying to escape. The devil is supposed to be keeping them locked up in hell. But somehow this demon found a way to to bust out, and she's done it before. We find out later. So the plan that Marianne kind of comes up with is, oh, because they've identified where the demon is, and it's in some shopping center, not shopping center, some housing development outside of town. Marianne's plan is really stupid. Again, this is where I want to read my notes verbatim. She's like, we're going to pretend like we're the gas company, and we're going to clear out the neighborhood one by one, and you guys are going to tell us if somebody there is a demon. But it's such a small town. Wouldn't they recognize these people? I mean, he's a bounty hunter. People would know him.
She performs music at the club, at the
She
town's
performs
only
music at
night
the
club.
club. Mom, Kitty, is like, or was some like religious fanatic going to church all the time. She would know these people. These people would know them.
Yep.
It's so strange. Anyway, they have costumes. They're pretending to be from the gas company, except for Cade, who's pretending to be a fireman. Like, why is he a fireman and not just another gas worker?
So they can tell that he's not a 20-year-old pretending to be 15.
Maybe.
Oh, no, that's coming up. Okay. We also find out from Midge that if they don't stop this sacrifice, it's too late.
Oh, right.
and the demon is going to escape. So we then
And
get
cause
a
Armageddon. And cause
yes,
Armageddon.
and Cars Armageddon because it's part of God's deal with Satan that Satan keeps them locked up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, not up on my Christian theology. I don't think that there is like a contract about heaven and hell. I thought it was more like Satan was cast out into the darkness and he found hell or something. Anyway, um, so they have a lengthy sequence of clearing these houses, worrying about whether people are demons. Now, Kevin Bacon can see them, but Midge cannot. She has to look in her mirror, which
She has
is
to look in her mirror still.
stupid. And pin in that gets
Even
stupider next
stupider
episode.
later. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But um before we get to them actually in the neighborhood, we cut to Lucky, who's having a
all right.
conversation with Jesus.
Okay.
And it seems like he's actually believes in God, and he was actually in love with Marilyn, and he wants to help God. So he says something like, the devil's got his man, like, let me be yours, or something like that. Something
Yes.
to that effect. There's no way that he does not know that Hub is working for Satan.
He thinks that Hub is a Satanist who is conjuring demons because he's a Satanist or something.
Okay. Yeah, I
Um,
guess that comes later. And a weird like rant.
yeah. Truck Boy is sitting behind him in church for no reason. Um, at one point, it seems like he's going to be the voice of God. He is not. God does not speak to Lucky. Lucky, we saw some of these scenes at the end of the first episode when they were promising what we would get for the season and lying.
Hmm.
They didn't promise good things, but they also didn't deliver on what they did promise. So it's not so much that Lucky feels as though God has abandoned him, and in doing so, has done so in a way to make him the perfect warrior against Hub.
Yeah.
And then all he needs is a sign. Trunk Boy's phone rings and it's the cops, which Lucky goes, "You've got a wicked sense of humor, God." And he answers the phone. So we then get to the
Then we cut
neighborhood.
back to the family
Yeah.
where they're in the neighborhood.
We get a bunch of house clearing stuff. None of it's very good. We get a couple,
There's like one scene where a mom's like, "Oh, my son's upstairs. Let me go
yeah,
get him." And you think
yeah,
that maybe it's the kid, but it's not.
it's not.
Um,
Um, Now, Jolene Purdy's episode established that the only reason she sold her soul was to save her son, uh, which there should be a pin in, but there really isn't. So,
well,
in theory,
that's my theory about this, about why they chose the brown-skinned boy, is because when she does face him, it reminds her of her son.
so you don't think she would have empathy again for a white child? Okay, the show
I don't,
doesn't
I just
understand that.
No, I
The
just think that it is
yeah.
reminiscent of her own child. So their disguised gas company again. Cade is disguised as a fireman. My note is, how do people not recognize them? Whatever.
Especially
Go ahead.
the doll guy, because our
They know him.
first red herring is somebody that they all know. He's a town crank who makes dolls, and everybody thinks he's a weirdo. Um, they have like a shootout with him that
Yeah.
Hub tases him and is like, "Okay, well, I think the house is clear, but you go in and check, Jolene Purdy."
So Jolene Purdy goes in to check, and she sees the little boy, but she's not using her mirror.
Not yet.
Not yet. And she notices that he's not responding to her. She's like, "Sweetie, we need to go." She's being very sweet. She uses her mirror, sees that it's a demon, but it's too late. The earth kind of around the house starts caving in a weird triangle shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too late. She does point a gun at him. We think She points the gun at him,
She
and then
does.
she
She does. But
doesn't
then
shoot
she's like,
him and
I'm so
says, "I'm
sorry. I'm so
sorry."
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the house falls into hell, which we
Hmm.
never actually establish whether or not everyone can see that or just Hub.
That's true.
Um, Sort of
And
pin in that, doesn't matter.
doesn't really matter. But um, so Midge ends up being the final sacrifice, which
Yeah.
they talk about in the next scene.
And basically, they go home and they talk about how
So they failed. They don't know what's happening next. Sub
uh,
says, I think Midge is the last sacrifice. They have like a tender moment where they're all hugging, blah, blah,
you forgot the
blah.
singing before
Eh,
that.
no, they sing after that.
Oh, they sing after their hug? Okay.
They are all playing instruments. We've never seen Kitty singing before, but
No.
suddenly she's got an auto harp and she's singing and they're all
Yep.
harmonizing. And
Yep.
it's something about going to heaven, whatever.
Yep.
Um, then Hub and Marilyn, nope, not Marilyn, Marianne, have a tender moment together and they end up getting a little busy.
Now, I have a question for you as a dedicated host of this program. Did you pause to see if you could see the junk? Because I'm pretty sure Kevin Bacon was like, "Oh no, somebody out there wants to pause and see if you could see my junk." And they're
So
like,
let's wait. Let's hold off.
"Okay,
We're
all
not
right,
there
all
yet.
right, okay."
So they just kiss. Then we cut to the sheriff's office where Lucky is being a rat. And he's also being a bit of like a cuckoo crazy pants, for lack of better words, talking about demonic spells and claiming that the Lord himself sent me here and all of this like banana stuff. And the sheriff is like, yeah, okay, demonic spells, right. We'll write that down.
And
But then he shows the sheriff and the deputies the pictures that the trunk guy had taken
in
of the
episode two,
in
yeah,
episode 2 of Kitty and Hub surrounded by fire. I don't even know if there's a demon. I mean, they can't see the demons,
no,
right? So the sheriff's like, I'm going to call the DA. We got him. Then we cut to Hub and Marianne in bed. The phone is ringing. There's almost a dick shot, but there's not a dick shot. Almost. So close. I did pause it, rewind it, watch it again. Only one time, though. Um, but it's not the phone ringing, it's actually a fax from Pot of Gold with information about a new demon
who is Lilith, which
who is
we
Lilith.
knew was coming because of the episode titles. But the address, oh no, is Halloran Bond Shop.
Yes.
So instead of checking on Kitty, instead of checking on Marianne, Hub goes out to the grave and finds that the grave is empty that he dug for Daryl, confirming for the first time that he did indeed bury her in the backyard, very close to the house. Seems stupid. And then we cut to end of
The end.
episode. Dun dun
Yeah.
dun.
Dun dun dun. Then we start episode 8, which is called Lilith, as Andrew just hinted to, which is why we knew this was coming. Andrew was very excited to see how they would treat women in this episode. I was actually not that disappointed. Um,
Oh,
so
before we move on from that episode, I
yeah,
do want to pose this question to you. Do you think there are many law enforcement officers in the state of Georgia who do not think they have been charged by God himself?
I have no comment.
Okay. So we
I
start.
can say, having lived in the South, not Georgia, that many public meetings, including, I don't know, uh, city council meetings, um, community events, public events, begin with a prayer asking God to do his will through them. I'm not saying it's happened, I've seen it happen at police stations. I'm just saying I have seen that happen in the public sphere in the South.
Did you also see that when you visited the set of Christina Applegate, Will Smith television shows? Because they used to do that before shooting.
If God is doing his will through Christina Applegate and who is the other Will
Will
Smith,
Smith.
I have no interest in
Well,
that kind of God.
I'm sorry, this side of the podcast believes that Chris Rock deserved the smack. He's been
Oh, I didn't say
fixating on
that.
old girl for years and he needs to stop it.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said that the quality of their work, especially television work, is not great. And if that is God's will, I want no part of it.
Look at Christian movies. If that's the best he could do, we're really, really not in good shape. Okay, so we then flash back to last night with the Cheryl's dead corpse reincarnating.
She's covered in dirt because, of course, she's been buried. She's hissing, or there's a hissing noise around
Yes,
her. Um, and she like flies up in the air and lands on the top of the cab of a truck.
the first thing she does is goes and watch Hub and Marianne fuck.
Oh,
That's
I
the first
forgot
thing
that.
she
Yeah,
does. Yeah.
yeah, I'd do that too,
Um,
probably. To be
okay.
fair,
Well, I'm sure. Fucking getting out your calipers to measure the old slab of
I'm
ham
really not
there.
good at math, but if it comes to like big, far away, small, far away, like I can do that math. That's
Okay, good.
pretty
Uh,
easily.
yes, but then she jumps on a semi and presumably is going to go off and cause ruckus. Not really, it turns out. She's going to wait until the most appropriate possible time. Okay.
Yeah,
Hub then wakes up the next day. He is passed out in the next to the grave. Marianne is coming out with cups coffee, like, hey, we didn't do too bad fucking after we haven't been fucking for a while. We still got it. And he looks really, really upset. And she's like, why is there a big fucking hole in the ground? He's like, I gotta tell you something. And he's like, it was an accident. And she's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, well, I thought Cheryl was lucky, so I fucking shot her. And she's just like, you did what now? And he's like,
yeah.
yeah, but I thought it was
He
lucky, so it's okay.
he comes clean so quickly about that.
Mm,
And her response, like, of course you'd be upset, but she was just willing to completely ruin Lucky's life in the last episode. Where do we start? She
it
says,
seems interesting that in a world of demons, her reaction is, and the impending apocalypse, her reaction is,
yes.
well, you fucking suck, so I'm gonna bounce. There's a
But
fight.
also, but
Mhm.
also at this point, she knows that Lucky succeeded in killing Hub.
Yes. She does not go back to Lucky at any point in this, but it's interesting from the point of I think Marianne would have been fine shooting the little black kid. She is not a person who has displayed much empathy, much like she's very selfish. She's willing to paw her son in order to get a record contract. She's willing to exploit him. We said this in
But
the second or third episode. None of these people really, like, they don't, there were nicer people on Dweebs. Did we watch a show called Dweebs or was it
we
called
did.
Nerds?
It was
Like,
dweebs, I think.
I would feel better leaving children unattended with the dweebs than I would leaving Marianne unattended with the dweebs.
So, and here's the other funny thing, because I think to a certain subset of America, she could be viewed as sympathetic because she's a good Christian woman. She's trying to fix Lucky, make him a better person, all of this stuff that women are supposed to be doing. So
Why are you supposed to be doing that?
I think to a certain subset of people, that could be viewed as sympathetic.
Which would it, what we assume to be this show's target audience, who did not show up for this fucking show, which is hilarious.
Well,
This
and
is
also, but here's the other thing about it. It's like Kitty claims to be religious, and yet we never see her going to church. I guess she
there's
gets
something
kicked out or
he got
something,
kicked
right?
out, and they
But that
killed the
guy's dead
preacher.
now.
Yeah,
But
well,
that guy's
they
dead now.
this that nobody knows that nothing happened. This is not you're thinking nobody else goes to the church. It was just her. There's no
Again,
repercussions. There's
having
no
lived in the South, people actually go to church.
that,
They're
that
not just like
they didn't. Nobody noticed, but them.
Midwestern Methodist shaking hands, having pancakes in the basement. Like, it's not that. It's very much like we go to church all morning, we have lunch, and then we go back to church all afternoon. Like that's the kind of place it is. Now, again, confusingly to me, they seem to be Catholic. Like a lot of this stuff seems to be Catholic. Um, and Catholicism is not huge in the South. So it's all very confusing and not quite like right with me. I forget where we left off. Um,
The family's mad at Hub. He's
the
revealed
family's
it.
mad at Hub.
I did want to mention Kitty tries to ask Hub what he wanted to reveal last episode
Mm,
or two episodes
she
ago to
doesn't.
her
She
last
says, I
episode.
don't want you to.
But then she said, I don't want you to tell you because I'm just
Yeah.
happy to have my family back. I don't care what
Yes.
you did.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out now she cares what he did.
Yeah.
The other thing is, they're like, you killed Cheryl and didn't tell any of us, like, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
And what he doesn't say is, well, I mean, I only remembered when Lucky stuck a poker up my ass. Like, the implication was he did not remember this because he was blackout drunk and it came back to him.
Yeah.
Given the excuses Hub makes for himself, it's shocking that that did not come up.
Yeah.
It's almost like the show's poorly written, Emily. Okay.
So then Hub is cutting the grass again, like he was again,
And he's
like
cutting
one
the stump.
time 4 episodes
The stump.
ago. He
Yep, the
keeps running into
stump.
the stump. So he pulls out a chainsaw to break the stump. And honk honk again, because that's how people are introduced in the show. Honk honk, a van pulls up. It's that hot English guy who had recruited Midge. And Midge gets out of the van and says something like, the devil's not done with us yet. And Hub is like, I don't fucking care. I'm not doing this. And Midge is like, you have no choice. Um, and she also says that after this job, they're going to hell. Like it's their last job. They go to hell after this. Um, Midge gives him more information on Lilith. She's got the voice of an angel. All the other angels hated her. And they tricked her into joining Satan's rebellion, essentially. So she would be cast into hell. She also says that the reason why Lilith wants to leave is because Me Too hasn't made it to hell yet, and that the boss has a particular liking for Lilith, and she wants to get the fuck out. Good for her. So what she does is she like kills men. She has like mind control and she can make them do whatever she wants. So all the men that she interacts with die, and the women are just sort of like worshipful of her or something. I
In her
don't know.
presence, yes.
Yeah, in her presence. Um, while she's doing all of this, we're cutting into Cheryl going into a diner. She's like obsessed with the jukebox. That's when we hear that she's obsessed with music and singing. And um, Midge gives more information to Hub about her last escape, including the fact that she hates men and she controls people's minds. And Cheryl kills all the dudes in the diner by again transfixing them, and they grab their jaws and they just pull their jaws off their face, which was the only gory thing. And I was here for it, I'll be honest. And they just fall dead. In the meantime, all the women are just again transfixed, standing in some weird pose with their arms crossed across their chest or something, seemingly worshiping her. Then at the Halloran house, the sheriff is pulling up and arresting Kitty,
Looking for Hub, who is not
looking for
there.
Hub, who's not there. Lucky, for some reason, is allowed to just wander around with the deputies.
Yep.
This supposed crime scene.
Yep.
Which was weird. They make more dumb jokes about the demon summoning, and then Lucky shows them the little string pentagram thing on the wall that also has pictures and information about all of the people who have gone missing, because presumably their bodies have not been found because they've been incinerated, right?
You'd think people would miss some of them.
You would
Okay.
think there would be more like just you're driving in the car and on the radio there's a news alert, so and so's missing, like this 16-year-old cheerleader went missing. Like you would think you would just in passing have reference to it, but no, not on this show. They had to talk more about holding something over the mortuary um, than having things that actually apply to the plot. I think, I think he's a hack, but I think David Lynch could have done much better with a story like this, a la Twin Peaks.
Yes, agreed. Very much so. I mean, I would be hard pressed to find anybody who's got more than four credits to their name, recognizable credits to their name, who wouldn't have done a better job with this, frankly.
Yeah.
Um, so we cut to Hub and Midge pulling into a clearing where he's got his big plan, and we also get to see like how he thinks, how the
Hmm.
bondsman thinks. So his plan is they're gonna bring a big boombox or a big speaker, and they're gonna set it to dog whistle levels, and they are going to draw Lilith out that way. At that point, Hub looks at the scrap of paper that Jolene Purdy has brought about Midge's or about Lilith's
Lilith.
breakout in Bronze Age Jerusalem, and is like, hey, wait a second. They were fucking trying to capture in a pentagram. Don't you see these lines on the ground? And Midge is like, people have been looking this for 2,000 years. You think you found something they didn't? Yes, he did, because he is a white man. So basically, he's building a trap with a pentagram. They're setting up the coffee tins and things, and so they're going to
There's
catch
like
her.
they're using sticks to make runes of
Yeah.
the elements, and then they're using coffee cans to actually create, and maybe fishing line, I don't even remember, to make the pentagram in the ground, and then covering it up with brush.
Yes. And Midge's job is to pull on that as soon as Lilith's in there. At some point, we then cut to Marianne being arrested, and going in and talking to the cops. Kitty is there. We have already had the scene where Marianne is arrested. Kate is not. Now, Kate is 15 years old. He has all of his family is either wanted or in custody. They would have been calling Child Protective Services or whatever the Georgia equivalent of that is. They do
Yeah,
not do that. Instead, the sheriff's like, I will fucking arrest your white son if you don't sell out your husband. And Marianne is like, give me the phone.
yeah,
She
very
leaves
quickly
Hub a
again.
message, and then we cut back to Hub and Jolene Purdy getting ready. They turn on the.
We missed
Oh yeah,
Lucky confronting Cade in the sheriff's office, sheriff's department, as he's leaving, and like I'm a rat. Just hit me. Your dad's trying to make you do this. He hypnotized you or whatever. Like he's
if
being a lunatic.
he told me I'd end this show feeling bad that they Damon Harrington or whatever that guy's name is had to go through this job, I would not have expected that. But at this point, he's about the only one I'm like, damn, dude, you should fire your agent. Like you should just do a recurring guest spot on the pit or whatever.
Yeah,
You should not try to get third billing if this is what you have to do to get third billing.
yeah,
It's a pointless scene. It's not well acted. It's not well written. It has no
no,
function in the film or in the episode except to pad it. And the episode already has a bunch of padding, so it does not need any extra. Okay.
no. They could have made these two episodes into one,
They could have made this whole thing into a 98-minute
a
movie.
98-minute movie. Yeah, yeah, we've talked about that before.
Yes, and
Um,
especially with the turnarounds this episode. So,
So also we forgot to mention that when that English guy brings Midge back, she establishes that she had gone to hell.
yes, indeed.
So that's important because we put a pin in some things.
Yes, we did. And one of the things that comes up with is that she and Hub are immune to Lilith's mind control
Mhm.
because they've both been to hell. Well, as we then cut back to them setting the trap and turning on the amp and turning down the volume so it'll get Lilith, they Midge sets up with her fucking mirror to see the demon stuff, even though
Why
she's
can't
been
she
to
see the
hell.
demon?
And why can't she see the demon? She's
Why can't
actually
she see the
died
demon?
now and gone to hell. She should be able to see the demon. She cannot because
So
it
stupid.
doesn't even fucking matter. It doesn't even matter because then they capture Lilith right away. It doesn't even matter. But Lilith leaving the cafe results in all of the women losing their reverence and seeing all the dead men.
And they scream.
And they
Then we
scream.
cut to the sheriff's office, and the deputies have received a call that a whole bunch of people are dead at this diner. And
Yes.
that spurns, apparently, even though they're mid going to the club with Kitty and
Which is the
Marianne,
trap they're setting for
the
Hub.
trap,
Yes.
they all go to respond to this incident at the diner. Where it, and I think it's revealed in this conversation in the sheriff's office, because we never go back to the diner, that it was Cheryl that killed them.
Yes.
Because the sheriff thinks it's Hub. And they're
Yes.
like, no, it was Cheryl. And because she's recognized when she walks in by one of the women. Very weird that they all just drop everything to go respond to this, whatever.
Especially since
Um,
there's no investigation scene and it does not,
Go
they do
anywhere.
not, they do not react at all to 20 men ripping their faces off.
No,
Like, there's no change in procedure, there's nothing because
no,
the sheriffs are demonized in this,
yes.
particularly the Black Lady sheriff and then her deputy, black guy who has never been in it before except shows up here to be stupid and unhelpful because that is how the show
How
wants
they
to do these
how the
vibes.
show wants to perceive this. Yes. Um, and then Marilyn and Kitty have some dumb conversation that doesn't really go anywhere. Um, Back at the clearing, again, I have Midge sees Cheryl land through her mirror still.
Yep.
They wait for her to step inside the pentagram. She moves like ridiculously fast, and she ends up beating the shit out of Hub, tossing him around and slamming him into the windshield. And except it's not crushing his skull or his spine or anything, whatever, dumb. Um, and Midge triggers the trap where now Lilith can't fly outside of the pentagram, but somehow also like a certain height above the pentagram, which is never explained really. Um, Hub gets dropped onto the van. Lilith kind of attacks, but then we see her immediately on the ground where she puts on the voice of Cheryl and is like, "Don't kill me again, Hub." And then there's this sort of weird voice over voice sort of modulation where it's a little bit Lilith, it's a little bit Cheryl, kind of in one voice. Um, where Lilith, as Hub says, makes her sales pitch, which is, if you let me go, I will set Cheryl free.
I will resurrect and set Cheryl free.
And you know what will happen then is that you won't be a murderer, so you won't go to hell.
Yep.
And you won't be a murderer, so your family will take you back.
Yep.
And even though Midge is there, like going, "I told you I didn't want this to happen." Like she said that. She actually said that like 5 minutes before this, telegraphing this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is somebody that you murdered. This is somebody you have guilt for. I should be the one meeting her, and you trigger the trap
Yep.
because you're going to fuck it up because
Yep.
you have all this guilt. So he ends up taking the bait.
He
Um,
doesn't have any guilt. He just wants to serve
he,
himself.
yeah, he's self-serving. So Lilith, kind of the demon, goes into this crow that somehow flies into the pentagram. And Hub can see the eyes of the crow are red and Cheryl's eyes are no longer red. And the mark on his arm goes away. The
Yep.
one that we saw again in episode 1 or whatever,
Yep.
that we never really see again. Um, and Hub breaks the seal on the pentagram and the crow flies away.
So a couple questions.
Yeah.
It appears, how does Hub know that he couldn't just not carry out his part of the deal and get both things? It's a little weird. But also he could have just shot the crow or something. Like, there were other things that could have happened here, and not had it do this, but we have to build up to our 4 different endings on our way through this fucking
Yeah.
movie or this show. So yes, so Cheryl collapses, but she's fine. We then cut to the club, I believe,
Yes.
where Hub brings Cheryl in thinking
They're both completely clean now because Hub had mud and blood
they
all over him
showered,
from
they showered, you
they
know.
showered. And people are surprised to see Cheryl, obviously. She hugs a bunch of people. Hub is like being super duper cocky about how
What he's
everything's
done. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, about how everything's okay now. Kate
So
and
he
Kitty run up to warn him that the cops are there.
yes. So Up gets arrested. Cheryl gets arrested. Um,
Because again, remember that scene that went nowhere is that Cheryl is suspected to have murdered all of those people.
by listening to the jukebox
Yeah.
is what the testimony would be, and security footage. Um, so then Marianne is upset, so she goes into her dressing room
Hmm. Oh,
where
and Lucky tries to stop her. Lucky tries to comfort her,
yes.
but she runs away. This is again to your point that she at no point has any interest in taking Lucky back.
And so the
She's
crow is in there.
crying.
Yeah.
She's crying, looking in the mirror. She hears something. It's the crow with the red eyes. Um, Lucky goes in to check.
Lucky
And
then goes in to check on it.
yeah.
And without enough comeuppance, really, Lilith, now possessing Marianne, now possessing M,
Now
sorry.
possessing M, and we know that because she's like swaying and humming some haunting tune. Um,
Yes.
she
She
throws him up
throws.
against the wall.
Mhm.
Oof. I took so much pleasure in that. And then he does the thing that all the men do, which is grab their jaw and rip it off until their head explodes.
Yeah.
Yay.
We then cut to the boxcar proper, the lounge or the stage area where Hub and Cheryl are being led out by the sheriffs.
Hmm.
To which we then get some music, some singing, and everybody's surprised that Marianne's singing at a time like this, but she is. Only we see from her, but all the guys stop and put their hands up to their faces. I don't actually know if they actually show women responding to it
Yeah,
because
I don't remember.
they're like, they're not important.
But
And
I
it's
do
just,
remember that Cade is amongst the men gripping their chins. The son is.
yes.
Sub sees her as a demon, and she stops singing to ask Hub to serve her. And in doing so, she will save Marianne.
Yep. And that's the show.
That's the show.
So season two would be Hub serving Lilith, fighting off presumably the demon hunters who come after her. While every episode, well, I don't know on this fucking show, but she would give him probably hints of Marianne, who probably still hates him for killing Cheryl or whatever, and then we would get all
Yeah.
the repercussions of that. Um, I would imagine they wanted more money for season two because if you were to do it the end times on this budget, it would be very cheap. I can see why they did not get the money.
Yeah.
Um, I have very little interest in seeing any of these actors in acting again. Uh, like, yeah,
Except Kevin Bacon.
except Kevin Bacon, especially if his hog shows up.
Well, I mean, he wasn't like he wasn't terrible in this show. I don't like his accent, but he's got a body of work that is much
Yes,
better than this show is representative of. So, like, I would watch him in something else with the expectation that it would be a better project, better written, better directed, better special effects, better budget, better in
better
every
co-stars. Yeah,
better co-stars. Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
yeah, I can. I'm sure they looked at their viewer numbers and were like, "Hey, 38 people watch this. Let's not fucking renew it." And
yeah. This is
so
not one that I've heard people talking about on social media. I'll be honest.
never, when we heard this was canceled, it was kind
I
of the
had
first
never
time I
heard of it
heard of it.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow Kevin Bacon on social media,
Well,
and
that's
I
just
don't
for the
remember
dick pics.
him posting about it.
Well, he didn't show off his hog in it, so he wasn't very proud of it. He was like, I told them we're going to talk about how big my
He's
dick
all,
is,
to be
and then we're
fair,
going to
he's
show it off.
only showed off his hog in one movie. It's not like Ewan McGregor who just
He
gets it
did
out.
it in Wild Things, but he's done it since then.
No, he hasn't.
He didn't
Has
do it in
he?
the one with Colin Firth.
Oh, yes, he did it in the one with
Yeah,
Colin.
okay. So that's
So
two.
twice. Ewan McGregor will
Okay.
get it out at a drop of a hat.
Well, of course he will.
Mm.
Regardless of his acting. I think if we could just put Kevin Bacon's seeming personal ethics into Ewan McGregor, we would have a better round to do with McGregor. But whatever. Yeah, so cool. Thanks. That show sucked.
You're welcome.
Glad it was only a half hour,
Yeah.
sort
And
of.
only 8 episodes. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, do you have an announcement for season 19 of
I
Onesies?
do have an announcement for season 19 of
What are we
Onesies.
going to be
Well,
watching?
we're gonna fucking do it, Emily.
What are we fucking doing?
We're watching Miss Marvel.
All right.
Yeah, I think she's
Is that
gonna lose
available
her
on Disney
job.
Plus?
It is. I think she's gonna
Okay.
lose her job. So we're gonna watch Miss Marvel. I think they're
We'll watch
firing
it.
her. Yeah.
We'll watch it and we will
This
promote
will
the hell out of
be
it.
your first ever Marvel.
I saw Iron Man, like the first one,
Okay.
maybe. And I saw Spider-Man's not Marvel, right?
Spider-Man is, but which
Oh,
Spider-Man?
uh, Tobey Maguire.
Not part
Okay.
of the MCU.
I don't know then.
Yeah. Oh. You did not see Captain Marvel, which this will directly reference, but it's okay because this is basically about a fangirl finding out she is a superhero. It is tied to her Pakistani heritage. It
Cool.
is all about how brown girls can be superheroes too, which is not something that the majority of white people believe. So,
Cool.
yeah,
I'm
but
excited.
yeah, so we'll be doing that next time. Uh,
I can't wait for
and
people to come at me for not having seen anything or not knowing anything or being a
they're going
woman
to email
watching.
Mr. Emily.
Uh-huh. Mr. Emily is fiercely loyal and has a searing wit, let's say.
I
Let's say
think
Mr.
you'll.
Emily has opinions about people that I do not
I
share
I think you're going to
because
hear
I
some
don't
of
want to
his
hurt
opinions.
anybody's feelings.
It's not the same thing as not sharing the opinions. Well, wait, sharing the. Well, it depends on sharing, the definition of sharing. But I can't wait to hear what Mr. Emily thinks of the next show pick,
Yeah.
actually.
Well,
Well, wait, hold on.
he has opinions, I
Let
can
me
tell
let
you.
me do an impression. You can cut it if you want.
Okay.
Okay. What the fuck is that?
That's not what the show's about. That's not how you guys, it's like, this is, you want to produce the show? He wants to produce the show.
Well, we've talked about the requirements for him producing the show. All right, folks.
Okay. Well,
Um,
thank you for listening to season 18 of Onesies. We will, for season 19, be watching Miss Marvel, available on
yep.
Disney Plus.
One Disney Plus.
Excellent choice, Andrew. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this with me. And I'll see you in television land.
I will see you on television land, Emily.